Hey guys, how's it going? It's Eve, and today we are going to be talking about how to get in and out of nullsec safely. Keep in mind, this isn't 100% safe. There are still the chances of you dying to a gate camp once you're in nullsec. However, this can lower your chances on actually getting killed and increase your chances of survival. So one of the most important tools in the entire getting in and out of nullsec game is what I'm going to call it, is your map, your in-game map. This is the most important tool that you have. Other than looking at Dolan, the downside of that is that they're only limited to an hour and it can't tell you how many average pilots are in space. So your map would mainly or probably look like this. This is the security status setting, not what we're interested in. We're actually interested in something at the very bottom under statistics. Right here at the very top you can see average pilots in space in the last 30 minutes. This is what you want. You can go ahead and click that. Now you can see that your map turned into a bunch of big dots, for lack of a better word. Basically, these dots represent the amount of pilots in space in the last 30 minutes. Keep in mind, these aren't actual system information. It's like the amount of pilots in the system. This is just the amount that are in space 30 minutes prior to you opening your map. So for example, here in, this is C4C right here, you can see there are 14 pilots. I can't actually tell you how many pilots are in that system without actually being there. But from this, I know that the 14 pilots could be actively camping a gate. They couldn't be. It really goes down to what's going on. Then we can go over right next door, for example, to GME. You can see that there's 68 pilots, meaning there are 68 pilots in space. However, there could be more in there. You don't know until you actually get in there. But those 68 pilots, they could be mining, they could be ratting, they could be camping a gate. You don't know. But using some good judgment, you can really think, should I jump into that system if I'm a neutral? Should I not? But what we're going to be focusing on is actually down here, down in Pure Blind. And that's getting in and out. So all nullsec regions, for the most part, have low sec connections, or some of them are nullsec, but that's a different story. We're more interested in the low sec and nullsec connections and the high sec nullsec connections. Basically, both are dangerous, equally as dangerous, but the high sec nullsec one are especially dangerous on the terms that people they want people to miss jump, believe it or not, so that they end up in the gate camp, the PvPers get a kill and they're all happy. But if you can actually take into account that what you see on your map, for example, that the system is dangerous, it's hot per se, then you won't make that jump and you will survive, therefore not losing your ship. A good example of the high sec nullsec connections would actually be down here in the south. This is HeadTac GP right here in Catch, and then this is the Kebers Gate in Synad. This is a high sec system, and over here is a nullsec system. There's also, I believe, one high sec nullsec is in Providence, and the other only one I can think of right now is the Tyrannos Gate up here in Pure Blind somewhere. But regardless of that, you can see on this map here, this is a good example here, that we're not going to be looking at Kebers because that's a high sec system. Unless you are not war decked, you don't really need to be looking at how many pilots are in a high sec system. But we're more interested in how many pilots, for example, would be down in HeadTac GP. We can see if we hover our mouse that there are 13 pilots. Those 13 pilots could be camping one of the two gates. They could be camping the Kebers Gate, they could be camping the next gate out, which is the SV5 TAC 8N gate. They could be camping one of those gates. Therefore, this jump is extremely dangerous in terms that not only is it a pipe system, meaning that there's only one way in and one way out, but it's actively camped. High-sec, null-sec gates are almost always camped and are very dangerous. I probably said that many times, but I just can't emphasize how dangerous jumping high-sec, null-sec is. Because, let's face it, high-sec is a safe haven, meaning you can't have bubbles, you can't have stuff like that. Null-sec is free-for-all, everything's fair. Therefore, it's much more dangerous, and people think that, oh, well, I'm just gonna jump high-sec, null-sec, it's just a normal jump. And therefore they fall target to the gate camps, lose their ships, and die. So, what we're interested in now that we got the high-sec, null-sec gates out of the way saying they're dangerous. Don't get me wrong, they are still a viable option in getting in and out. However, they are not the safest. There is a slightly safer alternative, and that is null-sec, low-sec, null-sec connections. I'm actually over here in RQH tag MY. And this is a null-sec to a low-sec connection gate, or a jump. Basically, this means that if I were to undock right now and warp to this gate, I will be in in low-sec space. Therefore, I'm actually pretty safe. Low-sec is still kind of dangerous. You can still fall target to some of the roams that go around. You can fall target to a few of the gate counts with some insta-locking ships, but for the most part, these jumps are the safest because the chances of them are not really too dangerous. You can see here, 0 pilots in the past 30 minutes and 0 pilots in the past 30 minutes. And you can see right now, I'm actually docked, so therefore the one pilot in system is not going to show up here. Therefore, I know the system's clear, and I can take a reasonable guess and use my judgment to see that the next low-sec jump will be a safe one. Another thing you can do to take a look at if the system is actively camped or is dangerous is actually taking a look at the pods killed or the amount of ships destroyed in the past 1 hour. It gives you a rough guess of if there's an active gate camp. It doesn't always mean there is, but you get the rough idea if it's active, if it's actively patrolled. But we can see that there isn't, and we're going to go ahead and use our judgment to make this jump. So we're going to go exit out of our map, undock from the Citadel, and we're going to go ahead and do this jump into low-sec. So we saw from the map that it was relatively safe, and there shouldn't really be anything on the other side. Keep in mind, the map is delayed by 30 minutes, so if there is anything on the other side, we will be rather safe. So right now, I am doing something kind of against what I usually do in null-sec, but stuff like this, I will talk about bouncing from a Celestial to the Stargate in a different video. But once we get out of warp, we can see one of two things. We can see a clear gate, or we can see a bubbled gate. I'll talk about bubbles also in another video, but just to put them briefly, we could be pulled out of warp prematurely, or we could end up anywhere from 100 kilometers from the gate to a weird number like 30-40 kilometers away from the gate, and we will have to use our micro warp drive, but in our case the afterburner, in order to actually approach the gate. So here we are, we're just coming out of warp right now, and let's see, the gate was clear. Using our judgment, the gate was clear. We are the only ones in system, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. But let's go ahead and make this jump right now. And now, we saw on the map that there was nobody in space, therefore it's not really too dangerous. And there you have it. We used our judgment, we noticed that we used the map to get a rough picture that the system is clear, and that there's no one actively patrolling it, and as you can see, the system is safe, it is clear, and nobody is camping the gate. That is really the way to get in and out of null-sec pretty safely. use the map, see if there's active kills going on, see how many pilots could be in the system. But right now there's another kind of slight problem we have here. Because the other system of our QH is empty, we can't go into Alliance chat or Intel chat and ask if the system is clear, if it's bubbled, what's going on. Basically, we are jumping blind. Now, yes, you could be like, oh, I could just put an alt in there. No one's really gonna be getting a second alpha clone just to check the statuses of systems that their main's about to jump into. So, let's pretend that we don't know that our QH is empty. We're gonna go ahead, check our map again. Go ahead, down over here. Our QH. System's clear. Can go ahead, just double check, see if there's any kills in the past hour. Nope, probably not a gate camp. How many pods? Doesn't seem that way. But there might be a few here. There was a pod kill there in the past hour. Alright. Ship kill there too. Alright, that's fine. So let's go ahead and take the jump, because not just because our map said it was clear, but let's just take it because in EVE, without risk, there is no reward. And really, there you have it. That is getting in and out of nullsec safely using your map. You will have to really just go ahead and use your judgment, as the map doesn't tell you the exact pilots in space. Therefore, you have the number that you see on your map is delayed by 30 minutes prior to you opening your map. Therefore, if you see that there's about 20 pilots in space in the past hour, it's best not to take that jump and find a alternative route into your destination. So that is pretty much it for this video, guys. Our next video, I'll probably be talking about bouncing in EVE, and that way we can avoid some gate camps and some warp bubbles and drag bubbles. Till then, fly dangerous. Peace. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. You guys can check out my other previous videos by clicking the two thumbnails on screen right now. And if you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more, go ahead and click on that subscribe button. Fly dangerous. Peace.